Absheni, Dumelang, Sanbonani. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Becoming with Mpobes, a channel where everyone becomes a better version of themselves. Guys, please subscribe, like, and share my videos as we're about to post this one. This one is close and personal to the heart.
I never had thoughts that controlled me until something bad left me so lonely, and I want it back. I want the old me.
Yeah.
Otswa kae?
Amantilantilang.
Wa jang?
Ke jele boholo.
Wa futsela kang?
Ka metsi a pula.
Tella he.
Ke thella ke le mohlakwana ke phuledisema ke maila ngwathela ke ngwana sa jeng se ngwathana sa maobane empa ke ja poloka kaofela ha mereti thea dilomo ke mohlakwana mosito ke mohlakwana wa teng ya motawana. Today's topic is called When Kindness Feels Like Love. I actually want us to understand our emotional attachment. Guysini, yeah. Laima langeni nje, the past months, I guess you all know that I went through a divorce. So somebody just started giving me like a certain attention or maybe a support. They listened, they were there, they stood by me, and you know, I found myself suddenly starting to think about the person. And now I started asking myself, for Haibo, this person, we young understander, he knows what I need whenever I need it. Like it's like, get the right person at the right time. But then I actually had to sit myself down, keep with this, is this love or this is just me as a woman who has been longing or carrying silence, a silent wound for so long? Or this is just me, a woman that has experienced rejection, or this is just me as a woman who has experienced a disappointment that makes me feel attached to this person. So I realized that I think this is not just Intoya Niwani, like all the other women, they could be going, through it. Especially those who have experienced a rejection, or they've carried irresponsibility for so long and no one comes through for them. The feeling is real, guys. I really appreciated everything, and the emotional response that person gave me was so real. But my question is that if feeling, does it become automatically, does it mean it's love? So I had to sit myself down and think about it. I am not going to go into details of what that person did for me. He did so much, guys, so much that even myself, I would be confused, and nothing sexually, nothing touchy or I'm a commenter snack. No, he was being a good person to me. Like some people, they would say, are you guys dating? Or like the guy man around you, or sometimes when kindness reaches that place where we have been longing for something real, for where rejection has passed, and you long for that person to be there for you, you long for that person. Umuntu ozokuthanda, umuntu ozoba there, umuntu wabona nje marato fontaine nje, you are longing for that, ne? Yo ugcina ufalla into a trap. But now ke batla re bolele ka yona, guys, hore how can we best see ukuthi this is not love, but this is just that part of you that is passing through something. Realized me ke hore number one, for experience ya ka, guys, hore kindness can touch places that it has been empty for so long, and then for the mere fact that we have experienced the silence wounds that we never even talk about. We have experienced rejection, and we have been carrying responsibility for so long. We have been giving to people that have not, or that are not even giving anything back to us. Their work is just to take. And then when we come along people that treats us with kindness, respect, peace and patience and care, the kindness touches the places that has been longing to be seen. So I have to acknowledge the feeling was real, the gratitude was real, and the emotional response was real. But does this automatically mean, I'm in love? Sometimes the heart is just responding to the comfort more than, the connection. The second thing that I realize is that we often fall in love with how a person makes us feel, But I had to sit down with myself and ask myself, do I truly know the person? Or I'm just simply attracted to how, he makes me feel. It felt more like a safe space. It felt like being appreciated. It felt like blood protection. It felt like being noticed. And then it felt like being valued. When I met this person, it felt like, he makes everything easy, and he becomes everything that I would want in a person that I would date. I often would sit and just think about that person. And then I realized that this person, I think I associated him with the emotion that he would bring around me, the appreciation, the protection, and all that I have mentioned. And then I started reliving, the feeling. And then I would sit there and miss him. But then I'm thinking I was not necessarily missing the person, but I was missing the experience that that person created. Another thing that I've learned out of this experience is that emotional attachment, it is not always a sign of destiny, guys. Ne? And I realized when I was talking to other friends that, we often have strong feelings, and sometimes we might make the mistake, maybe God has, given us this future husband just because we have feelings that have not been met. I realized that some people enters our life to teach us about some things, and some of them they reveal the needs that were unmet, and some of them the emotional connection is just a divine connection, and some of them they are just there to teach us a whole lot of whatever that we didn't learn. So not every connection, it simply means it's a divine connection. We require wisdom in order for us to separate, the truth of yay. The fourth thing that I have learned, guys, is that we need to learn to pause, guys, before we create stories. I realize that most of us, when I go around discussing this kind of topics, lady girls, is that most of us, we make the mistake of creating the entire future in our own minds. We are imagining it. It's based on like every meaningful experience that that person is giving you. Maybe a kind gesture, maybe a conversation, maybe a hug, a compliment, or a helping hand. In my case, it was just a helping hand. So we kind of like conclude, alright man, future is here. And guys, before, I would urge all the ladies that before we conclude on what this whole experience is all about. And I realized that, guys, this is where most of you are getting hurt. This is where we get hurt. What I did now, I allowed time to actually show stuff. I allowed character, I allowed consistency, and then reality had to speak for itself. So this is where we all get hurt, because we simply conclude that this person is so into me. I had to sit down with myself, trying to think, what is this feeling trying to teach me? Please, ladies, don't ask yourself, why do I like him? That one is not going to give you the correct answers. Actually, what I did, what does this feeling reveal about me? Hey, I realized, you know what? I've been longing for companionship for so long. I realized that the desire of emotional safety that I had was too deep. I also, thought, probably these emotions are just trying to teach me I need to heal from the past rejections. And maybe when you get those feelings, maybe you have forgotten your own worth, or we have forgotten our own worth, and that feeling is just constantly reminding you that you need to pick yourself where you have lost yourself. And then you need to also be kind to yourself, the way other people are being kind to you. Since you're not allowing yourself to be consumed by the feeling, this is what I did. I started guarding my heart. You know, I got reminded that the Bible says, guard your heart, you know, because everything we do flows out of it. And guarding your heart doesn't mean become cold, no. But it simply means remain wise. I had to sit back, relax, and actually look at whatever that was happening. And this is when I realized that should I was not guarding my heart, I was wrong, you know, rough. Yeah, but because I didn't guard my heart. So I stayed put and I started guarding my heart. So when we guard our heart, it means we appreciate people without losing ourselves. It also means that we refuse to allow temporary emotions to control our permanent destinies. I know how most women go and make, you know, our decisions are bad in a corner because they allowed a temporary situation to honestly, you know, rule, you know, their permanent decisions. As matured women, we can appreciate the kindness without becoming emotionally dependent on these people. Guys, don't rely, don't depend, make yourself happy, do the things that make you happy, pick up a hobby, do something. Don't become dependent, because otherwise you will end up weak. Don't be dependent. You know, whenever they are kind, receive the kindness. I learned that we become independent. Kindness is not romance. Attraction is not always love. Strong emotion is not always confirmation. Emotional attachment can reveal areas that still needs to heal. So nje bontombo asimeni sizinakekele. If you have been divorced, if you have maybe lost a partner, or girls, please ndiyanicela asenzeni kamosela kamahawu bana bethu rihlokomeleni, ne? Protect your own future and protect yourself from unnecessary heartbreaks. So allow yourself to heal and to love from a place of wholeness, to love from a place of, like, you know, needy, but just love from that distance. But there's nothing wrong with feeling deeply. There's really nothing wrong, you know, with appreciating somebody that genuinely cares for you. But before we call it love, let's take time to understand the source of the feeling, right? Before, you know, ask yourself whether you guys are connected to the person through attachment experience, or there is genuine love. Ask yourself, ladies, are you connected to the person or attached to the experience now? So, if I may conclude, there's something that I saw on paper that is written. Sometimes when we learn all these lessons, we gain wisdom. And then when we gain wisdom, we protect ourselves and our hearts better, and our children as well. And when we protect our hearts, we position ourselves for healthy and purposeful and godly centered relationships. With my few words, ladies, and this experience that I had, I'm saying go out there and become a better version of yourself. Thank you for joining me today, ladies. If this message has touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. Also, leave a comment so that we know the lessons that you have learned out of all this. Find me on my socials, on Becoming with Mpho Hopes, which is the YouTube, on TikTok, Mpho Hopes, on Facebook, Mpho Sibia, also on Twitter. Coming up on Twitter, it's Mpho Hopes.